welcome back. Kat Hutchings here. I am with Alex Fittin today, and we are going to be talking about our new Enneagram jewelry collection that we collaborated on together. So Alex is an Enneagram coach. She helped us design the different gemstones for each of the different types of the Enneagram. So if you're here today, we're so excited to talk about how these gemstones relate to kind of like each specific type. So to start off, I want you guys to hear just a little bit more about Alex and her background. Then we'll talk about why we designed the necklaces the way we did with the different stones and the placement and things like that, which is super interesting.
Yeah.
And then we will get into each specific type, and we'll also make sure we bookmark that. So if you know your type, you can kind of like pop right there if you want to know kind of like a little more nitty gritties of those different gemstones and how you can utilize them to your, strengths, weaknesses, all that good stuff. So Alex, tell us a little bit more about you and your backstory and why we decided to collab together on this project.
Yes, thank you so much for having me.
Yeah.
I am so honored and excited to be a part of this collection and to be partnering with you guys at WonderLight Jewelry. You guys are doing the coolest things, and I'm so excited that you've decided to do a collection on the Enneagram and that you decided to bring me in on it.
Of course.
Because it's so fun. So I am an Enneagram coach and trainer. I absolutely am obsessed with understanding people better, getting into the nitty-gritty of their personalities and how we communicate and impact each other.
For sure.
And so because of that, I absolutely do direct services and work with individuals, but my favorite way to utilize the Enneagram is within communities and teams.
Love it.
And so I really like working with, businesses and families and different structures like that on how we can first learn about ourselves and how we tick and why we think the way we think, and then enable them to better communicate that to other people, teach them how to reciprocate that so that we can have better, more effective, efficient teams, and just communication and interpersonal, all the things.
Yeah, I'm excited. We definitely want to do some team stuff even here at WonderLight Jewelry.
Yeah.
But we will make sure we link all of your socials and everything so people know how to find you if they want more Enneagram specific coaching, mentoring, things like that.
Yeah.
But let's get in and talk about why we decided to design the necklaces the way we did. So you can see Alex and I are both wearing, we have right now, we might add some additional collections and things, but this is our kind of like, we have the Dainty version and then like a larger version, but each necklace has 4 gemstones. And I'm going to let Alex go in and explain a little bit more kind of like about the reasoning behind that, the order and all of that.
Yes. What's really cool is the way we design this is to, first of all, just help people feel grounded and centered in who they are and the amazing superpowers and wonderful things that are just built into their personality. But then we have an additional 2 stones that remind us of how we behave and kind of who we adapt to become depending on our circumstances, with whether we're in stress or whether we're encouraged and in a good place, and then how we are connected to other types within that. And we call that in the Enneagram behavioral arrows. It can be a little bit of a complicated concept, but at core, it's really just that our types specifically, there's a roadmap for how we behave depending on our circumstances. And so I wanted to include that as well because it shows us how we are connected with other people. Like I am a 1 and I am connected with you as a 7. I behave like you when I'm in a good place. When I'm feeling encouraged and affirmed and confident, I can actually tap into some of these 7 qualities that it's really cool. So then I understand you on a deeper level, even if we don't know each other very well, I can just understand where your headspace is at in an easier way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Because it's interesting. I've noticed even like in our interactions, because when I think you said you're a type 1, right? Yeah. So I was like, oh, that's like you're type 1. And I brought Alex in because I am not like an expert. I just know about the Enneagram. I know my type. I've related to it really well. And I thought it would be really fun to, design jewelry around that. But like meeting you, I was like, oh, are you sure you're not a 7? Like we do have a lot of similarities,
Yeah.
Like not really, but it's like, I didn't realize that with like the different, like reaching and the arms and the wings and things like that. So
it's really fun.
Yeah. Super cool. So the cool thing about our Enneagram jewelry pieces is they're going to come with an affirmation card, like all of our pieces at WonderLight Jewelry do. These ones specifically have an affirmation for each of the different types, which again, collaborating with Alex was so helpful because she was kind of able to identify an affirmation or a mantra as your specific type that when you put the jewelry on, you can kind of recite, put it on your dresser, have as like that reminder throughout the day. So it comes with both the affirmation as well as a description of each of the 4 gemstones and why it's on your necklace, and they're to help you. So not only for yourself, but they make amazing gifts because someone receiving the necklace can get that card and automatically know and understand why we pick those stones. So as we're going to go into the video and talk about the different gemstones with the different types, if you don't watch this video, you know, you can still have like a reference point if it was a gift or whatever, and understand how it's going to be meaningful and impactful in your life.
Yes. And each of the affirmations is based on just our core motivation. That's really what sets the Enneagram apart from other personality typing systems, is that it's not based on our experiences. It's based on internally what motivates us through life. So even though our behavior will change, our season of life will change, our Enneagram number never changes because it's based on why we do the things we do.
Wow.
So each of these affirmations is based on our unique kind of superpower or motivation for life.
Awesome. So let's do this as we go through. Like I said, Alex has all kind of like the little cheat sheet cards, so she'll be able to reference those as we're talking about the different types.
Yeah.
Let's start off with having you go ahead. You can read the, let's do the affirmation for each type, and then you can go in and kind of like talk about each of the stones and why you thought that would be a good fit. For the type. So I guess we'll start with classic type 1s and go from there.
Yes, I always get to be first, and that's really fun.
You're like, love that for me.
Exactly. Okay, so type 1s for the perfectionists, or the reformers. And so kind of our core numbers, or our core stones that represent our core number is, I chose amethyst and black onyx, which represent intuition and perspective. Really because type 1s have this natural gut intuition toward what is right and good. But then also we have a really cool perspective on life that we're always really working toward being the best that we can be and doing the right thing. And then we have on the bookends for this necklace, I can actually point to it because I'm wearing it, right? We have the citrine joy, which represents our arrow to 7. So again, when we're feeling confident and affirmed, when we're in a healthy place, we can actually kind of like let our hair down and access the really cool parts of life that we often are too pragmatic to see as ones. We're a lot of fun, right?
Yes, very cool.
Okay, and then lapis lazuli, which I learned.
Oh yeah, that's right. You're gonna have to say all the gemstone names. We'll muddle through it together.
I'm gonna try to do it the right way because it's gonna bother me if I don't. Okay, so this is our stress stone. This represents our arrow to 4 because when we are not in a good place, when we're feeling discouraged or just lethargic or we've had a bad day, a lot of the time we can get really emotionally spirally. But the cool thing is that that's when we learn the most about ourselves. Wow. And so when we're in this place where lapis lazuli represents expression, we can learn to creatively express ourselves, and creativity can look a lot of different ways. For me, it's cooking. That's my creative outlet, but we can actually lean into that instead of just seeing it as bad or wrong.
Awesome. Thank you. So, and this is Alex's type. She is a type 1. So let's go ahead and go in. Oh, why don't you go ahead and read the affirmation for the type 1?
Yes. So type 1, the affirmation is, I seek what is good by improving the world around me.
Love it. The affirmations, I think, are one of my favorite parts of the necklaces because just like you said, it kind of taps into your whole purpose and meaning and like what really gives you that spark of like, I'm on the right path and I feel aligned when I'm living in this space with this affirmation.
It's what drives me.
Yeah. It's like, I think it makes the jewelry like so much more powerful as opposed to just like, like, oh, here's a little symbol for my type and I'm wearing my type necklace. Like, no, like this actually has like a real deep seated meaning and intentionality behind it when you put it on. So I love it.
Yeah, I love that. It just serves as such a good like visual reminder, but also like it's close to your heart. Like there's so many cool things about that.
And they're beautiful.
Yes.
Okay, go ahead. Type 2.
All right, type 2s are the helpers. Their affirmation is, I seek connection with others as I meet their needs. So there are 2 kind of inner stones that represent their core type. I chose rose quartz, which represents love, and aquamarine, which represents communication. They are such good connectors naturally. They truly just love others in their community and they want to connect and bring people together by meeting their needs. Their superpower is that they can understand and see the needs around them without really even trying. They just kind of spidey sense how to meet others' needs and then therefore making them feel seen, known, and loved.
So cool.
And so their health arrow is to 4. So again, I chose lapis lazuli, which represents expression. Choose kind of struggle to know what their needs are and to be able to communicate those to others.
So good.
And so when they're in this 4 space, they can tap into this expression where they can say, actually, I understand that there's enough love for both of us and that I can share my needs as well and know that that's not too much for you.
I'm like, as you're talking about this, I'm like thinking of like a specific friend or people.
Yeah.
Again, I'm not like an expert. I don't know I know some of my friends' types, but not all of them. And there's this one friend that's popping in mind. I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm almost positive she's a 2. She would love that. That would be so perfect for her because they are like so good, but also like, don't forget, like you need to be good to yourself too.
100%. I love that. And that's kind of how, like, it's so cool that we can bring to mind all these people that we're like, oh, they could like really benefit from this, or I wish that they knew this, or how can I communicate that to them? I love that. And then, their stress arrow is, it's, oh my goodness, you're gonna have to help me.
Amazonite, you got it.
Which is toward confidence. 2s go to 8 in stress. 8s are the challengers. So when 2s are feeling taken advantage of or pressed upon, or like their needs are not being met, they tend to go outward, where some people kind of revert in. 2s come out, they tend to lash out, they tend to get really frustrated. But what they can learn about themselves in that place is that expression. They can learn how to protect others, how to stand up for others and themselves. And so that confidence stone serves as a really cool reminder of what they can learn about themselves even when they're in a stressed place.
Beautiful. All right. You ready? Type 3?
Let's do it.
Okay.
I'm trying to like keep them in order here.
Yep.
All right. 3s are the achievers or the performers. Their affirmation is, I seek worth and value by working hard for success. 3s are always kind of on this metaphorical ladder, whether that's a work ladder or a social ladder or a connection ladder, any, kind of what you would visualize there. They're always wanting more. They're always trying to improve and be better and earn more, right? So their 2 core numbers, or their 2 core stones, are blue apatite,
Yep.
which represents manifestation, and green jade, which represents opportunity. Both things are really, really important to 3s. They want to see and visualize their future. They're big vision people, and then they want to bring that into fruition and lead others to do the same, which is so cool. I'm married to a 3, so awesome. I feel like that's like special to me.
Yes.
Their health stone is black tourmaline, protection. They go to 6, which is the skeptic in growth or in health. And so they can come down to the ground and almost have this healthy fear of the impact of their behaviors. And then they see more loyalty to themselves primarily, but also to other people, which is really cool. So that protection stone is important for them to remember. Nice. And then their stress stone is smoky quartz, which is relaxation. They go to 9 in stress. So it's like they're so high energy and they're working really hard, but in this 9 place, they can learn to rest and take care of themselves and kind of shut down for a little bit to prepare and rest and move forward.
Yay. Love it. And I'm also looking, this has such a, they're all beautiful. Like even like when I put on my 7, I was like, oh my God, it's so pretty.
Yes.
But like this has the type 3s. It's like blues and greens and blacks and gray. It's really pretty kind of like just color combinations there. So
it was funny because when we were designing it, I was very fixated on like trying to make sure the colors went, and then I was like, they actually all go.
Yes,
really
exactly.
well.
Like every time we look at one of the necklaces, I'm like, oh my God, they look so good together. They're just meant to be.
Like you almost like it's like just neat. You can't mess it up too bad because they're all so pretty.
Awesome.
All right, type 4s are the individualists or the romantics. Their affirmation is, I seek significance in the world through beauty and depth. Mm-hmm. I love my 4s, obviously, with my stress arrow to them. So their 2 core stones are sodalite for creativity and labradorite.
You got
labradorite.
It. Yep.
I always want to like shorten it. I don't know. For transformation. This is something that's really important to 4s, creativity and seeing beauty in the world around them and having this natural journey toward that transformation or toward that goal. Because for 4s, they teach us that the journey is the experience, not just the means to the experience, which don't we all like need to hear that?
I'm pretty sure almost everyone, I know I do, I'm a 7, and I'm like definitely constant reminder, like journey, not the destination.
Yes.
Destination's cool too, but don't forget to celebrate when you get there, but have fun along the way.
Absolutely. I needed a heaping like amount of that.
Yes.
Okay, so then their health stone is clear quartz for clarity. They go to 1 in a healthy place. So it's like they are able to take all their big ideas and all their creativity and organize it into fruition with this 1 perfection reformer arrow. And then aquamarine for communication for their stress stone. They go to 2 in stress, the helper, which means that they are taking all of these internal big feelings and emotions and they're able to bring them out and teach the world through, even in stressful places, through all of their creativity and all they bring in from the world.
Beautiful. Awesome. Thank you so much. You're doing amazing, Alex. I love, like, I'm just like, I could just sit here and listen to you like talk about it.
Oh,
It's-
good.
And it's so funny too, because, you know, when you're doing the gemstones, you're like, how do you say it? Like, you live in Enneagram world. I live in like gemstone world. So I can tell you like what each stone represents and all the things, but it's just, it's been such, like I said, that's why I wanted to collaborate, because I wanted the stones to really mean something. And I was like, I can read about the types and I can kind of guess what stones, but I'd way rather bring in like an expert that can feel into that and really understand what's going to be helpful to people. So I love this. It's been so fun.
Me too. It's a really cool collaboration because I'm like, how do you pronounce that?
Yeah.
But then I like understand how it fits.
Yes,
you know?
within the Enneagram type for sure. I love it.
Yeah. Okay, so type 5s are the investigators or the observers. Their affirmation is, I seek to understand the world by observing it. Their 2 core stones are green aventurine, aventurine, aventurine for focus, and black onyx for perspective. 5s are so focused. They are very internal. They see things that nobody else sees, and they use that to influence their decision. They're very calculated and careful. They are pretty introverted. I don't know that I've ever met a truly extroverted 5.
Interesting.
But they use that internal kind of like watching the world from behind the scenes to prepare for themselves and for their people to move forward and to have everything they need, enough knowledge, enough energy, enough of themselves in order to take care of themselves and their people. And so this focus and that perspective are really cool superpowers for 5s.
Nice.
Yeah. So they also have a connection to you. So wait for a second. So I chose carnelian for courage for their health stone, because they have this arrow to 8 where they're able to actually have the confidence and the energy to bring all of these big ideas into the world and have the courage to make them happen. But then in stress, they can get a little scatterbrained and overwhelmed whenever they feel like they don't have everything they need. So they have this arrow to 7. So I have citrine.
Okay.
Yeah, I have citrine for joy, because actually what they can learn about themselves is that they don't have to be so careful and calculated and put together, and that they can actually enjoy themselves too.
Yes. Awesome. It's cool. Love it. Yeah. So that's why, and again, we put the health stone will always be, it's like your health and your stress stone are going to be kind of like on each end of your necklace with your 2 core stones, which is super cool. So
yes.
love it. Okay.
All right, let's do 6s.
Moving along.
Okay, type 6s are the skeptics or the loyalists. Their affirmation is, I seek security for myself and others by being prepared. So 6s have this kind of lens of fear that they see the world through. They imagine the worst case scenario, whether that's relationally or physically, and then they prepare for it internally, and that actually helps them to calm down, because they're known for their fear, but they're also the bravest number on the Enneagram, because they start at such a deficit of fear. And they say yes anyway, every single day. Yes to people, yes to life. And so I chose black tourmaline for protection and carnelian for courage, because I just love that aspect of 6s that so many people miss. And that if they allow them to truly process out the way that they see the world, the danger, I always like to think of them in the watchtower, right? If they see the potential dangers, again, relationally or physically, when we allow them to process that out and to communicate it without judgment, they are just like the coolest people to know, because they are going to keep their people safe. They're going to keep their people protected, and you've got them for life.
Yeah.
Yeah, so then their health stone, they go to 9, which is the peacemaker. We'll talk about them in a second. But I chose howlite for tranquility, because it's like all of this anxiety and fear that they tend to struggle with, and this overwhelm of perspectives that they take in. When they go to 9, it's like they can just be like, it doesn't matter. It's okay.
Yes.
And they can rest, take a step back. Then for their stress stone, I chose green jade for opportunity. They go to 3, the achiever in stress. So it's like they're trying to outperform their fears almost. They just kind of slip into what will keep them safe, whatever personality or behaviors they feel like will protect them in that moment. But what they can learn about themselves there is that they can more easily bring themselves forward and show others in a charismatic way how to be safe, how to be protected, how to be loyal. So they have this green jade for opportunity too.
I'm trying to, I can't remember. I know my husband's taken the test, but I'm like hearing it. I'm like, I wonder if he might be a 6.
Yeah?
Yeah. Super interesting.
In theory, there are more 6s than other number grouping. Like yeah. I don't know that that's true, but that's what I hear.
I need to double check in with him. We'll have like a fun date night or something, figure it out.
Yes, it'd be so fun. Okay, are you excited to talk about you?
I am.
All right, 7s are the enthusiasts. Woo! Their affirmation is, I seek joy and fulfillment through energy and enthusiasm. Do you feel like that's true?
Yes.
Yeah, I love it. So your core 2 stones, which are your center stones and the jewelry, are Dalmatian jasper for inner child connection and black agate for fulfillment. Sevens want to have their needs met and be fulfilled and content. That's their motivation for everything. And so the things that you can teach the world are how to find joy even when things feel really dark and grim.
Yeah.
How to find the silver lining even in the hardest of circumstances.
That's so true.
And so that inner child connection, especially as soon as I saw that, I was like, oh, that's sevens.
Yes.
Like, I love it.
That's awesome.
Teach us how to like have fun, which is what the world needs, right?
I know. It's like sometimes I have friends, again, not sevens, and they come to me with something heavy or big, and I'm like, oh, it's okay. Well, it's good because of this. And they're like, can I just be sad for a minute? Like, is that okay? And I'm like, oh yes, that is okay. Feeling even like sad, bad, like whatever, bad is a quote word here, but if it's not a joyful feeling, it is still okay and welcome. And I am like, again, that's my growth and learning as a 7.
I understand that it's hard though.
Yes.
It's tough because you're like, but look at all the great things in life.
Exactly.
But that's actually really cool though, because 7s are actually the quickest thinkers on the Enneagram. You process things in real time. So where other types can sometimes take a long time to process how they feel. You don't necessarily process your feelings in real time, but you process your thoughts in real time. And so you can offer a really cool perspective on the world without needing to like take a few days to really think it through. But you can just be like, but look at this. And so it's kind of cool. In health, so when you're in a good place, when you're feeling encouraged, you go to 5 actually, and this is where you can have these like really cool boundaries, or you get less FOMO, so you can say no, you can take care of yourself, you can make sure you're getting the rest and the recharge that you need to be as joyful as you are. So I chose green adventuring for focus. That's also where you can step back and really focus on what you're wanting to do, on your success. And then you go to 1, so you go to me in stress.
Okay.
So it's when things are not going great and you don't feel a sense of control, you can get really nitpicky and even like judgmental sometimes, really like by the book, because it's like you're seeking that control where you're not feeling it elsewhere. So I chose amethyst for intuition, because what you can also learn about yourself is that it's okay to follow the rules. That doesn't mean you're like stuck in the mud or that you're going to miss out on life.
Oh, so good.
Cool.
Okay. Type 7.
Love it. Okay. 8s are the challengers. Their affirmation is, I seek control of my own life and justice for all. Their motivation is to be in control of their own destiny. I always like to say 8s need there to be control. They don't always have to be in control, but they really hate chaos because it leaves people without protection, and they really want to protect people and serve justice for all. I don't know. Yeah.
Cool.
Their 2 center stones, I chose Amazonite.
You know what? I think we talked about this before. I am not 100% sure. I am saying, even though I know all the gemstones, I see them all the time, I live in that world. No one is actually like, I'm reading them on the screen constantly, but I don't actually. So don't feel at all shy about correcting us in the comments if we do mispronounce a gemstone, but we say it Amazonite.
Amazonite.
So,
okay. For confidence, 8s are very confident.
Nice.
And tiger's eye for power. I feel like those 2 words so beautifully describe 8s. It's like if you think of a lion, like a majestic lion, that's 8s. But then when they're in health, when they're feeling confident and fulfilled, I chose rose quartz for love. They go to 2. So 8s are helpers too, but they're helpers from a really high level. But when they're in this healthy place, it's like they're coming down to the ground and they're serving alongside other people, accessing this 2 arrow. Then in stress, I chose howlite or tranquility. They go to 5. So they tend to isolate. They tend to really need to pull back. They have a lot of energy, the most energy actually of anyone else on the Enneagram. And so when they're in this 5 place, it's like, they're like, I cannot do this anymore. I need to step back. I need to recharge, and I need to do that alone.
Love it.
Cool.
Go 8s.
All right. Lastly, we have 9s, the peacemakers. Their affirmation is, I seek to be at peace in the world and with everyone in it. They want inner and outer peace everywhere. Pretty true to their name. So their center 2 like core stones, chose pyrite for abundance and howlite for tranquility. They are very comfortable with rest, but then also having this abundant mindset about the world of there's enough to go around. We're all going to be okay. There's enough perspective for everybody. I understand you. You can understand me. In health, they go to 3. So they then take on all this energy for everything that they see naturally. They pull in all these perspectives, and then they're going to do something about it. They're going to use that energy to build really cool things that help others to see what they see. So I chose blue goldstone for motivation.
Nice.
Then in stress, they're going to go to 6. So they're going to become a little more anxious. They're going to start to see what's going on and actually pull it in instead of kind of becoming numb or blind to it, which does keep them at peace, but can also help them miss out on life. So in this 6 space, yes, they're more anxious, but they're also feeling more energized and more in the world, not just outside of it looking in. So I chose carnelian for courage because they can also speak into the world what they see.
Love it. Yay. So that's going to be all of the types. Again, just a little breakdown of when you wear your type necklace, what the stones mean, how they all kind of like relate to each other. Go ahead and we'll close. Alex, we do a podcast as well. So if people are listening, why don't you tell us where the best place to kind of like find you, connect with you is. We'll of course link it in our YouTube videos and in as many posts and things like that. But go ahead and just like, let people know how to connect with you.
Definitely. The best place to find me is on Instagram, actually, Enneagram Alex. I have a link tree there so you can get a hold of me. My Calendly is linked there so you can book time with me. That's just kind of a good one-stop shop. So at Enneagram Alex.
Yay. All right. Perfect. Well, thank you guys so much for joining us today. And we will see you next week for more talk on mindsets and mindfulness.
Yay. Thanks, Kat.
Yeah. Thanks, Alex.